Record. Great, so welcome to the info session for Alpha Lambda Delta and specifically for the chapter at University of Maryland, which is a great chapter, been an ALD chapter for many, many years. It's typically been one of our largest chapters, some years almost 1,000 students joining from Maryland. So it's a great chapter there. So generally, I'm the executive director of Alpha Lambda Delta, and I'll just speak generally to the national organization. And again, if student officers, and I don't know all the student officer names, so if you are here as a student officer, you need to let me know. I think we have one.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, there you are. Great.
Sorry,
Yay. I wasn't sure if Vicky was coming or who it was. So
yeah, I think
great.
Vicky is busy, but
So,
yeah, I just came back from
yep.
work. So sorry about the lateness.
Can you introduce yourself? I'm not sure if the sound, can everyone hear her? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully people can hear me. Hi, I'm Jyotsna. I am the co-president of ALD, and Vicky is not here, but she is the other co-president. And hopefully you guys get a lot out of this info session and will join the Honor Society.
Great. Okay, great. Thanks for being here, Jyotsna. Like I said, I wasn't 100% sure. So, okay, so I'll start with just a general overview. And these sessions usually take about 20 minutes. We'll try and go quickly through them and then answer any of your questions. So who are we? What are we here for? Why'd you get invited? We're a National Honor Society. There are, you might be familiar with the National Honor Society, or NHS, from high school. It's a common organization that you might be familiar with from high school, but once you get to college, there are many, many different honor societies. There's over 100 of them. Most of them are academic discipline or your major based. So maybe next year or the year after, like third year, usually you'll start to see invitations depending on if Maryland has a chapter of your major honor society. So look for that in the future. But for now, we're interdisciplinary, Alpha Lambda Delta, so that means open to all majors. All majors join ALD, and our niche, of course, is the first year. So success in the first year. It doesn't mean involvement is limited to that. In fact, you're encouraged to you'd be part of the organization for life, actually, but lots of opportunities for the next 3 years or so and beyond. But that's our niche, is those who have achieved at least a 3.5 or higher their first semester, and that's all of you because you got invited. So we've been around a long time. We were founded in 1924, so almost 100 years ago, and we're pretty much all over the country in every state. We technically have been active on 400 colleges and universities, but the activity of those chapters ebbs and flows. So right now we're at about 300 active. And I'm going to talk a little bit about being ACHS certified, Association of College Honor Societies, because it does come up in the next slide or a few slides from here. I'm going to talk about a common myth or questions that come up around legitimacy for an honor society or all honor societies. And maybe you had those questions when you got the invitation for ALD. But there is this organization in the country called ACHS, and they certify legitimate honor societies. So what that means is they have these standards you have to meet, and then you're sort of judged on those standards every year. And then if you meet them, you're certified that year. And we have been certified and a member of ACHS since 1938, I think. So what does that mean? Why is it important? I think it is important as you look at other organizations, and probably Maryland students might have gotten invitations to a lot of other organizations. And so just some things to look at and why we're certified. Number one is we're a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. So I think that's important, that we're not this big multi-million-dollar industry scamming students for money and running off with their money. We try and keep our fee low, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we are a nonprofit charitable organization. We give out, our primary mission is to give out scholarship money and offer other things. The second thing to keep an eye out for organizations that ALD does meet is we're campus-based, chapter-based. So, as Jyotsna said, she's a student officer. There are many student officers on campus. There's a presence at Maryland. There's an active faculty and staff advisor. And it's an active chapter on campus, and I think it's probably one of the most active. It's really one of the most active ALD chapters, and maybe the most active org at Maryland's campus. So that's an important distinction, that we're not just anonymously inviting all these students to pay us a membership fee, and then there's really no presence on campus. So there very much is for ALD. And then the third thing I'll just say is that we are truly an academic honor society, meaning that we have an academic standard. And so we're not just open to anybody who finished their first semester. You had to have met an academic criteria, which constitutes the word honor, or constitutes why we're an honor organization. So that's 3.5 or above your first semester. Congrats that you got that. That's why you're here. Again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the fee, and I'm going to ask the students to talk a little bit more about what they use that for on the campus. But just know that the fee is really sort of in two parts. There is a national fee and what we call a local or chapter fee. And so for Maryland, I believe it is $55. I believe that's the fee to join for the, and it varies by school because every chapter gets to decide their own local fee. And for some it's $5, for some it's $30. And for Maryland, it's $25. So that's what makes the 55. So we'll talk about the differences between those two. Just know that that's it. One time, lifetime, 55 for a lifetime membership. So in general, we think that it has a lot of value, that it's great on your resume. There's leadership and career development opportunities, recognition, honor cords of graduation, a perks program I'll talk about. So lots of benefits. Josna, can you talk a little bit about the ceremony? Have you been, since the last couple of years has been so COVID related, I'm not sure you've done in-person ceremonies, but everybody gets a certificate and pin, and it's typically distributed at a really nice ceremony. What's Maryland's plans for this year?
Yeah, so if you are getting inducted this year, then there will be an in-person ceremony at the chapel on campus. And, you know, it's usually a pretty grand ceremony. When I was a freshman, I got inducted with the in-person induction ceremony. So I thankfully was able to be a part of that. But after that, COVID took over and then everything was virtual. But we're bringing back in-person ceremonies this semester. So if you are inducted this semester, then you will be able to enjoy this in-person grand ceremony. And there will be food. There will be, you know, a lot of concessions that you guys can look forward to.
Yeah, great. That's great to hear. Yeah, good. And it's not required that you be there, though. Just know that I believe it is April 24th, right? And if you can't make it, you can still join, even if you can't make the ceremony. But you'll get more detail about the ceremony, but it is on Sunday, April 24th. So keep an eye out for that. And they're usually really nice, and they always have food and fun. Okay, so let's just jump into some of these frequently asked questions I get. And I have heard over the years this sort of comment that it's no big deal to get a high GPA or to do as well as you did first semester. And like, why does that mean you should do anything about that? Join an honors organization or celebrate it? And so we think it is a big deal. We think it is worth honoring and celebrating and recognizing. And that's really the founding of why Alpha Lambda Delta was even founded 100 years ago. And so it's an important milestone. It sets a good foundation for you for future academic success. You'd be joining this organization of other students of all majors who also did well and maybe are motivated to keep doing as well. And it's just a nice way to begin your academic career at Maryland. And as Justin said, it's a nice celebration for that one event. And then just, again, knowing that the foundation has been set. So, but what if it dips below? What if you drop below a 3.5? Not the end of the world, and not required. So it's not like there's this high pressure to just always get straight A's or whatever it is, you know, A's and B's. If you do drop below, you're certainly not kicked out of the organization. You're still a member. There's going to be support for you to maintain that GPA. And so even if you drop below and you were disappointed or not happy with that, you'll get some support and maybe be more aware of resources to help you bring it back up if that's your goal. But just know that it's not required. So Jocelyn, let me stop there before we talk about the time commitment. Anything you want to say about recognition and grades and all that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like being invited to join ALD is a really good, it's the mark that you're already starting to do well as a college student. So like you should be proud of yourself for sure. Obviously, if your grades do drop throughout the semesters, that doesn't mean that you get kicked out of the honor society. We do pride ourselves on academic excellence and we do encourage that, but definitely not something that you have to worry about. In terms of recognition and all of that, is definitely a very prestigious honor society, and being a part of it will definitely be a good resume booster, be a good opportunity, and definitely for networking. That is also a huge thing that I got out of this honor society. It's helped me throughout like many different journeys, like different experiences. I gained a lot of good experiences just from being a part of this society and like attending a lot of the events that we hold. You get access to like a bunch of really cool like exclusive events that I think would really help you guys in terms of your career paths and your academics. So yeah, it's definitely something, it's a very prestigious honor society to be a part of, and like I'm very glad to have joined it. So hopefully that encourages you all to join it too.
Yeah, okay, good. So you mentioned time and events and stuff, so I do want to address that because that is a concern sometimes for people. I think there is an assumption that you're required to participate in things. Like there are some organizations like fraternities and sororities, we'll talk about them in a minute, that do require attendance at things, but Alpha Lambda Delta does not. You're certainly going to be very encouraged to go to things just because they're great events on campus, and just your fellow student leaders are planning all these things. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity, but just, you just might be thinking, oh, this is like the last thing I need. I just can't do it. I've joined 3 other organizations. I'm on a sports team. I commute, an hour each way, or I have a part-time job or more than a part-time job, just a lot on your plate. So just know that it isn't required that you attend things. And again, you'll be encouraged to just because there's lots of events. But Jocelyn, do you want to talk a little bit about the time piece? What was it like for you? And especially, not everyone's going to be a leader in the organization. So just as a general member, what's sort of the climate around time commitment?
Yeah, it's very much not a huge time commitment. As a freshman / sophomore, I had a lot of commitments just like with classes and like, trying to navigate my way through the university. But ALD was definitely one of the chiller organizations that I joined. And here at UMD, we have actually a point system where you just have to earn 3 points throughout the semester in order to remain an active member. So that's just attending 3 events, whether it be like fundraising or educational or just like social, whatever it is, you just get 3 points. So that is not a huge time commitment in my opinion. And like, I think I have a pretty busy schedule. And like as a sophomore / freshman, that was definitely not too much to handle at all. So in terms, like if you're worried about time commitment, then definitely not something that you should be worried about at all. It's a very good time commitment.
Right, easy to manage. Yeah. And one of the things I would add about time is be careful about sort of making a big decision about time when next semester could be really different for you. So right now, this moment, or the moment you got that first email inviting you, you might have thought that it's too much. And that maybe it is right now. Maybe this semester is really just super packed for you and we're heading into maybe the Easter break, but then finals and stuff, and you've got a lot looming. But things are really going to change for you. You're only in your 2nd semester freshman year. You've got a lot of Maryland time left and a lot of other opportunities and time for getting involved in doing things with the chapter that you might find you have plenty of time for next year or the year after, because it won't always be like this right now and things could really change. But the invitation to join Alpha Lambda Delta, because we're recognizing freshmen students from their grades, doesn't occur more than once, meaning this is it for the invitation. You don't get re-invited next year. You're eligible because of fall 2021 GPA, and that's what we base eligibility on. So this is your chance in the next month or so to accept membership. So time and money are the two big things we hear a lot about. So let's talk about the money piece. I've straight up heard people say any organization that charges you a fee is a scam, or any organization that charges a fee just because you got good grades is like, why would they do that? And what's that all about? And it's not legit. So remember that I talked about the two types of fee that involves and that makes up the full membership fee. So it's $55 for Maryland. It varies from campus to campus. So, you know, one of the first things I would say is we're a national organization. Remember that we're a nonprofit. And so we're not gouging students. We're trying to keep that fee as low as possible. So for $30, we're just trying to cover some of the expenses that we incur by what we offer. That's really all there is to it. We're an organization that offers benefits. Some of those come at a cost. And so it's not, there are no honor societies that are free to join. That doesn't exist because they all have expenses to operate the organization to offer you what you get. I can tell you that $30 for a national fee is going to be one of the lowest, if not the lowest fee you'll see. So there, the certificate, the PIN, the leadership conference, leadership summits, an online leadership and career development program, a perks program that's going to save you thousands of dollars if you join and use it. So I'll talk about some of those. So again, trying to keep that fee as low as we can. So what about that 25? Every organization at Maryland, of which there are probably hundreds and hundreds, right? Are there probably 500 or 1,000 student clubs on campus? There's probably a lot, I would assume. And every one of them have expenses to operate as a chapter or as an organization on campus. So Chelsea, do you want to talk a little bit about what kinds of programs and events and things that you use that local fee for?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question, because I think a lot of people tend to think like this money just goes to like nothing, but we actually do use the money for a lot of purposes. So one of the big things is definitely local scholarships. We have a bunch of scholarships that UMD gives out to anyone who applies to them. So a lot of the money goes there. Those scholarships are currently being given out right now, actually. And when you become a member, one of you guys can even get that scholarship for yourself. So that's one of the things. Another thing is just general events that we have. We usually hold a study day towards the end of the semester, and that's pretty much our biggest event. So a lot of that money goes towards the refreshments for that event, and also the room reservation fee, and anything just related to, just that event itself. A lot of the money also just goes to the service projects that we hold for the University of Maryland. So yeah, it goes towards a lot of different things. And, at the end of the day, all of the money, all the stuff that we spend on, is there to benefit you guys as members, and also to benefit the people who we are doing service for. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what the local fees go towards.
Great. Yeah, those are great examples. I think what most other chapter leaders have described. Room rentals, renting, you have to rent a microphone if you have a guest speaker at an event. Then honor cords might sometimes are included, or t-shirts or something. But one of the number one uses of the fee is all the food that is available at events and programs, which is great. So that the $25 is definitely going to pay for itself by all the free food you're about to get for the next 3 years. But also offering you value and service, it could go to charitable organizations. So all this to say is $55, is it worth it to you? And that's for you to decide and assess. So what are all the benefits you think you could get today, now, this semester, the next 3 years, and really forever? For some of the things that are lifetime benefits. Is that worth $55? We certainly think it is because we think there's a lot of value for that. So that's definitely something for you to decide. But there's never, ever a reoccurring cost. So be careful about other organizations that are going to keep charging your credit card every semester, every year. We definitely do not, but we sometimes get emails thinking we did because it was another organization and a student or a parent thought it was ALD. And I know as soon as I see the email who it was, and I help them get a refund, but we don't charge reoccurring costs. Okay, so there's one more slide of just sort of myths or questions that we get asked. We're often confused with a fraternity sorority for obvious reasons. We sound like one. We have the Greek letter name. That was just what they did 150 years ago. They gave honor societies and fraternities and sororities the same types of names with Greek letters. So just know that we're very, very different. We're an academic honor society focused on, like I said, scholarships and academic excellence. Plenty of social things happen, but not in the traditional sense of a fraternity and sorority. But if you do get invited to other honor societies, you are certainly welcome to join them. Another myth is that some students think they have to pick one, that they might get 3 or 2 or 5 invitations or emails or something, and they and not just this year, but in the future, you feel like you can only just join one. So not the case. You are able to join as many organizations as you want. And so, and Justin, I want to hear your take on this. Did you get invited to others? Have you joined other organizations on campus? And let me just then, in one thing for you to also address is what was it like when you did first get the invitation? Because the other, and I've addressed the scam legitimacy question that we hear a lot. So some of them are a little sketchy. I do think, because I'm very aware of all the organizations in the US.
Definitely. Yeah, I have gotten invited to a couple of other honor societies other than ALD. And I forget this one that just kept sending me email to my house. My mom was like, you need to apply to this. Like, it seems like a really good opportunity. And, me being skeptical, I just always try to look up the society before committing to it. And with this one, literally every site I go to is saying it's a scam, don't do it. Like, these people are just taking your money and, they're not going to do anything with it. And, that the fee for that one was around $90, which is pretty hefty fee. So yeah, I just, with everything, I just kind of pushed it away because I didn't trust it. But when it came to ALD, I think what really pushed me towards this honor society specifically was knowing people that were in it, number one, and 2, just reading their mission statement online, just doing research in the National ALD website as to what the honor society was really about. And after seeing that there were so many pillars that the society kind of addresses, like academic excellence, event planning, service, everything, career path, all of that, I realized this is a really reputable honor society. I think that I could really thrive in it. And there's a whole bunch of opportunities for leadership and stuff. So if you're looking to, find a leadership position or, get yourself more involved with the university, this is a really, really good opportunity as well. So, but yeah, I digress. Definitely doing your research on the honor society will definitely help you make a decision. I'm so glad that I did that because I know if I joined the other one, it would have been a waste of $90. But this is definitely not a waste of your money.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a great story. I hadn't heard that before. Well, your story. Yeah. One of the things, if you remember what I said earlier about being a certified honor society, is campus presence. So again, some organizations, they are sort of running with the money and not really doing anything on campus that would benefit you. And so they wouldn't have met the certifying standards. But anyway, yeah. So bottom line is, do your homework, do some research, Google the organizations, go on ALD's website and see if it's worth it to you for what you can get from it. 2 more quick things, and I'm going to show you one quick webpage piece is So we do get questions sometimes, like we've already said, you don't have to be involved. If you don't have time, that's okay. But then we're saying it looks great on your resume. So why does it look good on your resume if you really don't do anything with the organization? And it really still does. I've been told over and over again by students that that they're glad they had it on their resume and they never went to a meeting and didn't go to events. Again, encouraging you to go to events, but in case you don't, we're established and reputable. We've been around almost 100 years. We're known by employers. Anyone reading your resume or application for an internship, part-time job, full-time job, graduate school, we're going to be known. And oftentimes, maybe the person reading the resume is also a member. We've got 1.3 million members since our founding. And so we're, pretty established and known. You're also going to hopefully have a line on your resume or a category of awards, honors, and recognition. And so ALD is often really the first one on that list. Eventually, if you have a lot of high school stuff on your resume right now, you're going to eventually need to purge your resume of high school stuff. It's just not going to be as relevant as you get involved in college. And so ALD could often be really the first thing under that honors category. We're a good feeder organization for future honor societies like the ones in your major, and Phi Beta Kappa if Maryland has one, the more senior level, junior, senior year honor societies. Quickly about transferring, if you transfer to a school, first of all, your membership follows you. So you're a member for life. The day you join, you're a member and that's it. Nothing will ever change that. So if you transfer to a school, if you go to a school that has an ALD chapter, you let us know. We update your new college email address, connect you to that chapter, and you can get involved or not, whatever you want to do. If you transfer to a school without a chapter, then two things. Number one, we're going to add you to our national chapter, what we call our national chapter, just a database to keep you in the loop and keep you informed of things that you can opt into if you want. And a really cool opportunity would be to help us start a new chapter at that school if we didn't have one. That could be a great leadership experience to help found an actual new chapter. Anything about resume and anything else before we move to the next slide? Josna? Good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think, I said a lot about how it looks good on your resume already.
Yeah, right, you did. Yeah, you addressed that. I'm not going to spend much time at all on our website, but this part of that, doing your homework and doing your research, just know that we're nationalald.org, nationalald.org. That's our main site. /invited is a lot of the same information we've just talked about, the benefits, a couple of videos. We did some AMAs with student leaders you could check out. We talk about the fee and legitimacy and scam stuff and hear what other students have to say. So that's the invited page. Our scholarship program I mentioned, we give out $211,000 every year, and then Maryland gives out a lot of money just to Maryland students. So you've got double scholarship opportunities. You can apply for graduate fellowships for the rest of your life, 5 years after graduation, 10 years, 20 years. You can always come back for a graduate fellowship. The Perks program I mentioned, this is our Perks program, 302,000 different deals and discounts on pizza and restaurants, oil changes, movie tickets. It comes with your membership, but you do need to opt into it once you join. Your welcome email once you join will have a link to this page for you to opt in and enjoy thousands of benefits and more than pay for your membership fee. And then the exclusive leadership development program called ALD Lead Certified. It's a series of 12 courses in leadership and career development. Once you complete 10 out of 12, you'll be given a certificate and then listed as in our directory of ALD Lead Certified members. Really great speakers, a keynote speaker in each one, and quizzes and things for you to learn about leadership and become a better leader. Each one is going to take you, when I say courses, it's not really like a college course. It is 30 to 40 minutes each one, but it's a really great opportunity to develop yourself. Anything more you want to say about opportunities for involvement? You gave some really great examples of programs the Maryland chapter sponsors. So you do some service things and social and academic?
Yeah. So here in Maryland, actually, we have several committees. We have several VPs, vice presidents who deal with different stuff for ALD. We have a VP of communications, VP of event planning, VP of academic enrichment, VP of, I'm forgetting a bunch. There's like 7 VPs, and each of those VPs have their own committees. And if you're in a committee, then one thing is you automatically get the 3 points for the semester that you need to be an active member. And you also are just a really big part of ALD and just like planning events and planning these charity events and fundraising events, all of that. So yeah, that's a really good way to get involved with ALD. Aside from that, just like general involvement as a member, you can attend all of the events that we have planned. We have every year we have like, different academic enrichment events, mock interviews, just like study tips, study night, service. We have like stuff that we go to every single semester, writing letters to patients in the hospital, writing letters to old age homes, making cards, stuff like that. So, there's so many opportunities for involvement, whether it's leadership or just being a regular member. You can find anything at ALD.
Awesome. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, the Maryland chapter is really one of our best and very active, and it's been great chapter offering a lot of services. I mentioned the honor cords. That's just a picture of the honor cords. You're going to want one at graduation, I can tell you now. They're popular and fun to wear. You might end up with more than one. We also have stoles, these are called, and medallions, but the honor cord, and obviously these students are wearing multiple ones because you might join other organizations in the next couple of years. In terms of, just real quickly, follow us, or at least check us out online on social media. We're at National ALD, just like our website. We've got a lot going on Instagram, a lot of leadership content on YouTube, and a fair amount going on overall. So does the chapter have something you want to mention, your social media?
Yeah. So I can put our website in the chat, but our Instagram is at maryland.ald on Instagram. Actually, no, hold on. Let me double check that. Okay. Our website is aldmaryland.com. I'm going to put that in the chat. So if you want to check out the chapter, you can just go there. And if you want to follow us on social media or anything like that, then our Instagram is ald.maryland. Okay, I got that right. And over here, we post a lot of things about the events that we're planning, events that we're holding, any stuff about the induction ceremony that's coming up on April 24th. So if you guys are planning to join, please follow our Instagram for any updates. We also have a Twitter that we don't really use, but if you're interested in that, then I will link that in the chat as well.
We're on Twitter too, and we sort of stopped using it. So don't judge us by our Twitter account.
Yeah, seriously.
There's not much there. Cool.
Yeah, okay. I linked everything in the chat if you guys are interested.
Thank you. And I know we're wrapping up anyway, and I know you have to go, but Vicky's here, right? Is Vicky around? So if we had any specific questions, we can pull Vicky in. But I know you have to go, right?
Yeah. But it's been really nice talking to everyone.
Yeah, that's great. I want to know if there were any questions, but like I said, if Vicky's here, she could answer some questions if you have to run. Sure. But thank you so much. This was great. Thank you for being here and participating and helping talk about the Maryland chapter. You can talk about it a lot better than me. Yeah.
Of course. I hope everyone joins. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on the Instagram.
Great. Okay, thanks. So what's next for you? And then if you have questions, please put them in chat or turn your cameras on and mic and ask them. This is a general slide for general inductions, but our information sessions, but the ceremony date is the 24th of April. That means that the invitation, what we call closes on the 11th of April. So that's in 6 days. So if you're considering joining, do so by the end of the day, literally like midnight, 11:59 on the 11th of April. And that does conclude the content anyway. Does anyone have any questions that we haven't addressed or answered? And
I have a
Vicky,
question.
yes, please. Hi.
If we, so I'm a freshman, so if we accept the invitation like this year, the one that we were given, do we get inducted this year or do we wait till next year?
So the induction is this year on April 24th.
Okay, thank you.
Is that, yeah, did I answer? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if like we had to, like sometimes new members have to do stuff before being inducted. So I didn't know
Gotcha.
if we participate in this year or next year's.
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. Yeah, no, you're inducted within a week, 2 weeks or so after the deadline to join. So join by the 11th and you'll be inducted on the 24th. And if you can't make the ceremony, you're still inducted. You'll just you'll pick up your certificate at another time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Thanks. Okay, so I'm just gonna hang here for a little bit. Vicky, if you're still here, Vicky, I think is the other co-president.
Yeah, nice to meet
Oh, there
you.
you go. Hi. Great. Well, that concludes the ceremony. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming. And if there are no more questions, we'll wrap it up.
Someone asked, what does induction look like? Yeah, so we'll be sending out emails regarding induction, which will happen on April 24th. It's gonna be in the main chapel, I believe. So yeah, so you guys will just have to attend on that day, and then you guys will get inducted. But we'll
So
definitely send out an email with more information on that.
Right.
soon. Yeah.
It's like if you're curious about it, it can be like a 45-minute ceremony. There's a script that they're going to follow. There's a pledge that you're committing to academic excellence and taking your academics seriously, something like that. And there's some ceremonial things. There might be a guest speaker saying, congratulating you. You'll walk up to the front of the stage and get a certificate and pin. And then enjoy a reception after is usually a typical ceremony.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's funny, just the transition, like so many were online the last couple of years. So it'd be nice to have one back in person. They're really nice events.
Yeah, it's our first in-person induction since COVID started.
Yeah.
So we're really excited for that.
It's great. Yeah, they're really, yeah. So you sit in the audience and you listen to people speak for a bit, and then you come up to the front of the stage, and yeah, it's parents, usually families invited, parents and others. Yeah. I'm going to stop recording here.